May I have your Lordship's kind leave to commence the proceedings?
Yes.
May I request the learned Additional Solicitor General to deliver his speech?
Honorable the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Joymalya Bagchi, Honorable Judges, the Deputy Solicitor Generals, the President and Secretaries of the respective Bar Association, the Honorable respected senior members of the Bar, the members of Registry, and all the learned advocates present. It's a great privilege for me to address one of our finest judges who is being elevated to the Supreme Court and will be a Chief Justice designate in near future. Therefore, the entire Calcutta Bar is rejoicing. And apart from that, I am referring to one of the finest poems of 19th century Romantic poet John Keats, where in his poem Ode to the Nightingale, John Keats says, "My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains my sense as though of hemlock I had drunk." After hearing the melody of the nightingale, John Keats said this. Now we are hearing the melody of God, that my Lord Mr. Justice Joymalya Bagchi is being elevated to the Supreme Court. Now, in our student days, in the school days, we had the privilege to study logic. There was a chapter called Are Proper Names Connotative? We find that my Lord Mr. Justice Joymalya Bagchi is being given a Joymalya, a connotative, by God itself. My Lord, I had the privilege to have association with your Lordship when your Lordship was at the bar. And I had the privilege then to discuss some criminal laws. And your Lordship used to inspire me in respect of quashing of FIRs in the mines and mills proceedings, possibly your Lordship will remember. And I also used to learn some law from your Lordships, because your Lordships by then became an authority in the criminal laws. Apart from the authoritative position in the criminal laws, we had the privilege to see your Lordship sitting with then Honorable Chief Justice Arun Kumar Mishra, and was disposing of a large number of mandamus appeals. Now I shall be a little bit personal to refer to 4 cases where I had the privilege to argue before my Lord Mr. Justice Bagchi. Possibly your Lordship will kindly remember. The first was a rule of contempt was issued against the General Manager of the Eastern Railway. I preferred an appeal. Mr. Shaktinand Mukherjee was on my other side. And ultimately, the contempt application was withdrawn. The second was a reference by my Lord Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta, as his Lordship then was, in respect of applicability of Section 5 of the Limitation Act for depositing delayed rent by the tenant under the West Bengal Premises Tenancy Act, Section 6. That was referred to, and my Lord Mr. Justice Bagchi, sitting with my Lord Mr. Justice Kalyan Jyoti Sengupta, delivered a judgment. And that apart, there are 2 full bench judgments where I had the privilege to address. The first one is the jurisdiction of the High Court in regard to regularization of contract laborers, both appointed by the contractor and by the government itself. And my Lord Mr. Justice Bagchi was sitting with then Honorable Chief Justice Arun Mishra and my Lord Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta. My Lord Mr. Justice Tapabrata Chakraborty, kindly your Lordship will remember, your Lordship while at the bar appeared against me in that matter. And the other one was the issue of the division bench jurisdiction or coordinate bench jurisdiction to set aside an order passed by the earlier division bench. And Lordship had been pleased to deliver a separate order referring to Order 13 and Rule 4 of the Civil Procedure Code, which empowers the coordinate bench to set aside the order. My Lord, Mr. Justice Bagchi, your Lordship is vastly learned. Apart from law, I had the privilege to come across your knowledge. And in the recent past, the Honorable Law Minister, Honorable Chief Justice at Sonar Bangla, ITC Sonar Bangla New Criminal Law Conference had been pleased to deliver a lecture on new criminal law, referring to illustrative reference to the Nyaya Shastra and Nyaya Samhita and Indianization of the criminal law. My Lord, this is not simpliciter knowledge. This is in our Shastra called wisdom. And that can be acquired only by perseverance, meditation, study, and meditation and concentration. I appreciate that, and I have no hesitation in addressing your Lordship, that your Lordship has been pleased to acquire that wisdom, which is one of the rarest qualities of a human being. My Lord, the question of Indianization, I shall be very short if I have any opportunity to address in a different forum. But I have written some articles, has been published in the Statesman, Nyaya Prabaha, New Delhi, and all that. That was Indianization of law and giving a go-by to the colonial law. The Honorable Justice Abdul Rashid of the Supreme Court, in one of his address at Hyderabad, stressed the need for Indianization of laws and by giving a go-by to the colonial law. I can safely say that in English literature, right from Shakespeare in Three Dramas, Addison, the essayist in the 18th century, Charles Dickens in the Victorian age, and Galsworthy down the line, vehemently criticized the English law. With great respect to Lord Denning, Lord Taylor, and all others, I can say that all the laws which have been enacted nowadays under the sun, these are derived from our ancient Indian jurisprudence and the law. I shall not take so much of time. I can give only one example. During the Maurya dynasty, there were 16 independent states who used to elect their king by votes. Therefore, the concept of democracy is a gift of ancient Indian civilization. It is not borrowed from the West. I can give illustrative differences, but it is not the time for that. My Lord, the other point is that, my Lord, Mr. Justice Bagchi, according to one of the famous sayings of Swami Vivekananda, that education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. This must be manifested, which is within a man. And I find that is manifested within your Lordship. Now, this is a question whether we are going to bid farewell to your Lordship. I have already in one of my addresses referred to English, American, and other literature where farewell has been described in different manners. But in our Sanskrit language, farewell has been described as Punarmilami, reunion. So the intermittent period, my Lord, is for nostalgia and remembrance. I wish your Lordship good health, long life, and I firmly believe now both my Lord Mr. Dipankar Datta and your Lordship will hold firmly the Calcutta High Court flag and silence the critics of Calcutta High Court. And I pray before your Lordship, my Guru Shankaracharya, for your Lordship's long life and good health. Jai Hind.
May I request the Secretary of the Bar Library Club to deliver his speech?
My Lord the Chief Justice, my Lord Justice Bagchi, for whom we have all gathered today, my lords, the learned Additional Solicitor General, the learned Deputy Solicitor General, the President and Secretaries of the Bar Association and the Incorporated Law Society, the learned members of the Bar, the members of the Registry, ladies and gentlemen. My Lord, with immense pride, on behalf of the Bar Library Club, I address your lordships today. The pride is immense because this is only the 5th time in the history of Supreme Court and High Court that we have an instance of direct elevation from our High Court, from the bench of our High Court to the Supreme Court, after Justice Bankim Rai in 1984, then Justice Murari Dotto in 1985, Justice Suhas Sen thereafter, and lastly by Justice Rumapal. So this is the only 5th instance that without going through the usual route of ordaining the position of a Honorable Chief Justice, we have someone who we call our own directly to the Supreme Court. And perhaps the first instance when Lordship will adorn the office of the Chief Justice of India in near future. Calcutta High Court has often been in the news for not the right reasons. And the last few days, we have had numerous opportunities to rejoice at some good news Calcutta High Court is involved in. My Lord, I can't say, being the practitioner in the original side, that I had many cases to have appeared before my Lord Justice Bagchi. But the 1 or 2 civil matters that I had the occasion to appear, my Lord, it has been a cherished moment for me. But my Lord, I recall the first meeting that I had with your Lordship in the studios of All India Radio, courtesy late Krishnendu Bonik. And it was on the eve of Independence Day when my Lord was invited as a lawyer who had just put in 1 year in the profession, and I was invited as a student who had put in 1 year in college in the field of law to speak about what the present generation thought about Independence Day and the legal field. Well, the association has been very cordial, and for me it is a sense of personal pride. And I am sure that all present in High Court here today in this courtroom feels this sense of personal pride, because it is one of us, one who was a member of our bar, one who is a member of our bench, shall now be occupying the benches of the highest court of the country. My Lord, in Sanskrit, there is a word called sthita pragya. It is difficult to find an English equivalent of that, but perhaps it's a combination of many English words. One is content and calm, and the other is firm and decisive. Well, Lord, I think that on behalf of the bar, and in particular the Bar Library Club, we have all seen Lordship Justice Bagchi display the qualities of what we call sthita pragya. Well, Lord, as my Lord will be taking the flight to New Delhi, I, on behalf of the Bar Library Club, wish my Lords a great success during the time Lordship will spend in the Honorable Supreme Court and even thereafter. Well, Lord, to borrow a phrase that we often hear in one of the popular airlines, that in India, we do not say goodbye, but we say see you soon. My Lord, we hope to see your Lordship soon, both in New Delhi and also with us in Calcutta. Thank you.
May I request the Secretary of the Bar Association to deliver his speech?
My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice, my Lord, Justice Joymalya Bagchi, my ladyships, my lords, learned Additional Solicitor General, learned Deputy Solicitor General, Secretary and President of the Bar Library Club and Incorporated Law Society, designated senior members present here, registry, and ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled here to bid farewell to my Lord Justice Joymalya Bagchi and also to felicitate my Lord for being elevated to be the judge of Hon'ble Supreme Court of India. Justice Bagchi commenced his practice in High Court from 1991 in our court and had appeared in a number of important cases relating to criminal and constitutional law, including death sentence and clemency cases before the High Court at Calcutta and the Supreme Court of India also. Justice Bagchi appeared in various public interest litigations on behalf of human rights organizations and actively espoused their cause for civil liberty and environmental protection. Justice Bagchi was empaneled advocate for Union of India, State of West Bengal, and other corporations, including Kolkata Municipal Corporation, Kolkata Port Trust, and Calcutta Electricity Supply Corporation. Justice Bagchi was appointed as a permanent judge in this High Court on 27th June 2011, which was later followed by a very short stint at the Andhra Pradesh High Court before returning back to this institution. The bar is the best teacher of a judge. This was one of such court that Justice Bagchi had said at the oath-taking ceremony before Andhra Pradesh High Court. One thing must be noted that a court is not built by the walls of the courtrooms and the arches of its building, but by the works the honorable judges do to fulfill their constitutional duties. Ultimately, the legacy of the judges is measured by how one has sought to safeguard the citizen's right, and that in such regard, it is beyond any doubt that Justice Bagchi is the author of some phenomenal judgments. Your tenure is deeply rich and generated with the development. No one is perfect. Perfection is relative, but the truth remains unaltered. A judge must attribute to the society how one values a judge is by way of assessing their contribution to the fraternity. If one looks into the Constitution, there are two most important attributes to the human being, which are life and liberty. No person shall be deprived of one's life and personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. And the law is declared by the Honorable Supreme Court, sometime wrongly and sometime rightly. But you judge a person on the basis of that yardstick. How often, how passionate, how committed he was to life and to liberty. The other stick word of honorable judge to be judged by a person is, did he further the cause of equality before the law? Now, equality before the law is inequality of the state, which pertinent to the society ultimately land into the court, and the solution found by the judge to ensure that equality to the extent it can be protected and protect. You will be remembered for what you have done and also you have not done. However, it is our great, great fortune that judge like Justice Bagchi has been illuminated our High Court with his great prudence. I must say that Justice Bagchi, you are really a gemstone. We, the members of the bar, wishes your Lordship with all prosperity, of your journey as a judge of the Honorable Supreme Court and for the rest of your Lordship's life. On behalf of the members of the Bar Association and on my personal behalf, I extend my gratitude towards your Lordship for being amongst us as an Honorable Judge and bid farewell to my Lord. Thank you.
May I request the President of the Incorporated Law Society to deliver his speech.
Lord the Chief Justice, my Lord Mr. Justice Joymalya Bagchi, the judges of this Honorable Court, learned Additional Solicitor General, Vice President and Secretary of the Bar Library Club, Secretary of the Bar Association, members of the registry, members of the profession, and all present in this court. We are here to bid you goodbye, Justice Bagchi, being elevated to the Supreme Court, or the Honorable Supreme Court. You are one of the finest judges we are presently having. You started your practice in this Honorable Court in the year 1991. Almost ever since you started practice in this Honorable Court, we had the privilege of having professional relationship as well as good personal relationship, which I cherish and shall always cherish. I have seen you to bloom in this Honorable Court as a young lawyer and ultimately to become a judge of this Honorable Court. On 27 June 2020. For about few months, you were transferred to Andhra Pradesh High Court on January 4, 2021, and you were repatriated to this Honorable Court on 8th November 2021. During your tenure as a judge of this Honorable Court, you have made your mark and have delivered judgments in various fields of law, which have been laid down the law on the subject and mostly reported. Your contribution in the justice delivery system of this Honorable Court would always remain a lesson to follow. On my behalf and on behalf of the members of the Incorporated Law Society and the entire profession, we are very proud of you being elevated to the Honorable Supreme Court of India as a judge, and your prospect of ultimately becoming the Chief Justice of this country. We pray to the Almighty for your resounding success on your elevation as a judge of the highest court of the country. We wish you good health, every success in your onward journey, and happy life hereafter. My Lord.
May I request the Honorable Justice Joymalya Bagchi to address the House.
Honorable the Chief Justice, my dear sister and brothers on the bench, the Additional Solicitor General, the Deputy Solicitor Generals, the President and the Secretary of the three wings of the Bar Association, Bar Library Club, and the Incorporated Law Society, senior advocates, my dear junior friends, ladies and gentlemen. Very good afternoon to all of you. I'm humbled, I'm overwhelmed. I was lucky to return to my home, and now I have to again bid farewell. It's a feeling which is really mixed because fate has cast upon me the onerous responsibility of living up to your expectations and serving the nation in the highest seat, the Supreme Court of India. At the same time, it's a severance from the umbilical cord, severance from its own mother, the institution which nurtured, evolved, and created what I am today. This is a time for reflection. My family has its roots in the ancient city of Navadvip, the seat of learning of Sanskrit and the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya and the great jurist Dr. Bijon Mukherjee. When I was born in 1966, the family had already shifted to Kolkata. I was born to working parents. My father was a practicing lawyer. My mother was a health professional. Caught between the two professions, I struggled my entire school days figuring out whether I should be a doctor or a lawyer. Two things really settled the course. One was from the Bar Council of India, which decided to launch its 5-year course in 1984, 83, I presume, and I joined the 5-year course in 85. That was the external impact. And the second was the wistful sadness that those musty old books which lined the walls of my ground floor, where my father and grandfather and great-grandfather sat as lawyers, have to be sold away if I didn't follow the tradition. So I took to law. I came from a strict, disciplined school, which inculcated in me the sense of obedience, the sense of commitment to work, timeliness. Coming to law college, it was as if I was put into a vacuum. Everything was different from what I had learned in school. And that is where law college gave me an opportunity to understand the vicissitudes of the real world. Everything was not always in order. And one must learn the life skills of finding the method in the madness. I tried to do that. In my way, I met wonderful friends, and which I cherish even today. Some of whom are honorable colleagues. Others hold high offices. One of them, Justice Dipankar Datta, adorns the Supreme Court. I acknowledge and deeply appreciate his unparalleled support as a friend, philosopher, and guide. Beyond law college, I looked into the profession. 1990, I started dabbling in the chambers of Mr. Bhaskar Sen. More often than not, Mr. Sen, who had a practice throughout the country, would be absent when I would go to his chambers. I would sit alone and make jottings in an exercise book, which I still have now, of the judgments of the Supreme Court in various topics. Today, perhaps it would be past and irrelevant to the young friends who have the databases on their fingertips. But that was not in 1990. I enrolled in 1991 and started my profession under Mr. Sen. But the tides of profession are unknown. Though I thought of starting and working on the civil side and developing a practice, the clients who chose me had criminal cases to offer. So I had to shift to the appellate side criminal business and join the chambers of Mr. Shekhar Basu and Mr. Pradeep Ghosh. I grew under their tutelage and with all your blessings, developed a reasonable practice. I feel beholden and I feel extremely grateful to all the seniors with whom I have worked, who have shaped me, who have created the quest of law and the will to stand up and speak what is right and just in a court of law. Mr. Onindo Mitro sitting here, I have worked with Mr. Mitro on a number of matters and learned immensely. I never imagined when I joined and I walked as a young lawyer, struggling to survive the ravages of the profession which waits for none, that I would one day adorn the seat of a judge in this court. The day I was appointed, I felt that I am stepping into the shoes of judges of immense capacity, immense knowledge, ability, like Durgadas Basu, like Anil Sen, like Justice Chittotosh Mukherjee. They were too big shoes to be filled. But I felt that when fate and God has given an opportunity, I must do my best. And that is what I have humbly endeavored to today. I was transferred to Andhra Pradesh, and I must say, it was one of the most enriching experiences which helped me to understand and take on the challenges of a newly established court. In fact, I had been sent from the oldest court to the newest high court in the country. I stayed there and I worked. I met wonderful people who were honorable judges and helped me to understand the law, the local law, the languages and practices, and I'm ever grateful to all of them. The members of the bar, the then Advocate General of Andhra Pradesh High Court, all of them gave me support and I was able to discharge my duties there. I again had a stroke of great luck and was repatriated to Calcutta High Court. As people would say, I was twice born, Dijo, by then. And since then, I have served this court for the last 3-4 years, and under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Justice, his inspirational leadership activating all of us, we are trying, with the help of all the members of the bar, to see the evolution of the grand old dame of Indian judiciary to the modern technological age. The impact that we have had on the Indian judiciary is nothing less than wonderful. I'm told the NGDG database states that we have had the 3rd highest disposal of cases in the recent past. The information technology team of our court is taking great strides in developing cloud storage technology, providing free Wi-Fi services to the members of the bar and the litigants, and is in the process of developing an AI chatbot for dissemination of legal knowledge and information. The other aspects of legal aid to the indigent is not far behind. We have an empaneled lawyer, a list of 292 empaneled lawyers, where a large section are women. In fact, we have a specially able lawyer who is also a member of the panel. We have got designated senior advocates to fight criminal cases, particularly death references. The act of the court is not an act in isolation. We do not write poetry, we write judgments. And when we seek to write judgments, it is the active role and advice and counsel of senior advocates and other advocates who enrich us in our pursuit of justice. The senior advocates of this court have a great legacy to serve the nation in various capacities and are known throughout the country, if not the world. I have a word for the juniors. It is always a challenge to join a profession which does not have a fallback option. But friends, bear in mind, it is hard work, and simply hard work which will take you to the pinnacle of success. You must always understand that even in a crowded profession as in law, there are very few who are at the top. And it is not reserved for people who have lawyers as family members or lawyer or judges as relations. It is only for those who succeed in the distilling process and the grueling path of hard work and commitment to justice. Never lose heart and fight to the end of your life. And that is the answer that is, according to me, the answer to success. Today is a time to say thank yous. I thank the Honorable the Chief Justice for his presence, wonderful presence at all times, and inspirational leadership. I thank my sisters and brothers as judges who have always been so helpful and enriched me in more ways than one. The members of the bar, what do I say? Even sitting as a judge, I can never forget and that I continue to be a part of you. Whenever I hear an argument, it's my lawyer side which speaks more than my being acted as a judge. The unseen, the unspoken, but yet the most essential, that's the members of the registry. We can only perform because they perform well. And I thank from the depth of my heart the Registrar General and other members of the registry. The staff of the court is an important facet for the dispensation of justice. They are indispensable and they help us to reach and see that justice is done to all. Finally, for my personal staff, I would say a thank you to my secretaries, personal secretaries, Mr. Shubhendu Sadhuka, Shoikot Mukherjee, Saurabh Ghosh, Soheluddin, and Pritam Rai. I would not have been able to research and deliver judgments had it not been for the assistance of my law clerks, including my erstwhile law clerk, Shreyoshi Bhattacharya, and the present law clerk, Anushka Chaturvedi. Finally, for my family. My father was a lawyer and unfortunately he passed away before I was elevated to the bench. He has been an inspirational presence and his blessings are always with me. My mother, thankfully, is with me and her industrious commitment to justice and fairness is what inspires me in a court of law. My wife, my daughter, my cousin, my uncle, they have all been quiet and steady support when I have devoted myself entirely to the profession and the cause of justice. At this hour, I acknowledge their role in my life, and without them, perhaps I would not have been able to do what I am doing today. Finally, I seek all your blessings as I enter into a new phase of life, so that I may keep the flag of Calcutta, as the Additional Solicitor General so aptly stated, flying high and serve the nation, keeping the Gandhian talisman in mind that whatever I do, I should recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man whom I have met in my life. I thank you all, and I do not say farewell. I say welcome to Delhi. Thank you. Pranam.
May I have the leave of your Lordship to declare the proceeding as completed? The proceedings are hereby declared to be concluded.